How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. So today what I wanted to cover is top-down analysis and how I do it, some of the things I visualize and whatnot. So right now we have GJ marked up, and this is kind of my outlook excuse me, for the coming week, starting on Sunday for those of you that trade Asian. So quick run through this, and then I'll show you how I broke it down and how I got these levels. So black lines are going to be our monthly levels. They're going to be thicker lines. Blue lines are going to be our daily levels. And this will be the same on the live stream. So when you see the colors on the live stream, I'll put up something so you guys can see, but it's going to be the same levels all the time. Our orange lines are the weekly levels. And then the skinny purple lines, those are our 4-hour levels. And then there's no 30-minute level here, but this is a pink 30-minute trend line because that's how I like to do my trend lines on the 30-minute. Since I'm scalping, then I just kind of get a better idea of where the direction's going. And I'll actually break this down and what I think is happening here. But anything pink will be a 30-minute level. So no, there might be one more. Yeah, we got one more weekly level down here. But we'll break this down on how I how I got to that and came up with those levels that I picked. So we're going to start with the monthly level, which is what I always start with on when I'm doing the top-down analysis. Kind of zoom in. We don't need to see all of this just because we're only in the market for maybe an hour or two at a time. So for scalping. So the only thing I found on the monthly was I just wanted to mark this top wick. Oh, that's the wrong line. Because that's where I think we're going to head to once this current monthly kind of turns around. Because most candles are going to need a top and a bottom wick from what I've noticed and learned from people. And there's no top wick there yet. And this was the start of a new month. It's the 3rd right now. So candle came down. This kind of rejected off of this level up here is what it's looking like. So it's just kind of finishing going down, and then once it finds a support strong enough, if it does, which later in the video I do think it did find that support, it should head back up. So monthly, that's all I see there of significance, because down here is too far away. We're going to have to wait weeks for a trade. So we're going to try to get some more accurate levels for exactly what we're going to be doing. So now we're on the weekly, which will be our orange lines. So if we zoom in, you can kind of see that this is kind of stopped right there. And I believe we are bouncing or going to bounce somewhere off of this broken level, because price kind of consolidated, came up to it, consolidated, we broke out, and now we're retesting it, and then we should continue back up. Just remember, we are on the weekly, so that's not going to be a quick scalp. You got to kind of wait for it to find a really good support. Probably see something like this on the hourly, or the 4-hour would be a good support to go off of. And then we'll just mark up down here as well, just in case we do break down below there. And I always use the bodies of candles. So these ones, I used the wicks just because that's where it looked like it's stopping on the 4-hour time frame. So I just adjusted that. But this is kind of just, some people use boxes. You could just say tops of the wicks. That's our consolidation box. So we broke out, we're retesting, we'll head back up. I just like to use lines on the higher time frames. So we'll go down to the daily. And so I'm seeing, if we're going to head back up to here, and tighten this, make it a little better. If we're going to head back up to here and fill that monthly wick, we're going to run into some trouble on the daily in this area. So we broke out, retested, and then we kind of created some resistance there. Now we need this to happen right here so we can continue up. Otherwise, we'll be falling down to this level and then back into this consolidation, which we do not want to see. So for the daily, that is all I'm going to mark up, because we could put a daily zone here, but there's a weekly zone right here. So that's kind of pointless in my opinion, how I like to do things. If there's two zones that are literally right on top of each other, just mark the more significant one. So in terms of time frames, the weekly is going to be stronger than the daily, and it's in the same spot. So if a wick drops down close enough to it, just know that there is another level right there that could be stopping something. So then we'll go to the 4 hour, and we're going to use a thinner line just because it's a weaker zone than the other ones. So I use a thinner line just to kind of remind me that that's what that is. So the thicker lines are going to be stronger, thinner lines will be weaker, but 4 hours still really good. So we have created support now. So after we've fallen down from up here, and this is our daily. So our monthly, we actually fell from up here. So this is all our retest if we're looking on the higher time frames. And then we finally found some support. This candle couldn't break down. So on Asian session on, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I thought this was going to be our support because we lined up here. We got some stuff going on here, and we had some stuff here and then over here. Not that that's what I trade off of, but it just kind of made it feel like a stronger level. And price just kind of came down, stopped, went up, and then came back down. And if you've been in any Zoom calls with me, I kind of call this like a half pipe. So the price fell down, and then this was another drop. It went up, and then it came down the other side with more momentum. Just a little analogy I use to kind of make sense of why this wick broke above and then still came back down. It's just like, if we draw it out real fast, if we have this, let's say that's a half pipe, you drop a ball from here, first time down, it's going to probably come almost to the top. Second time, it's not going to get as high, and it's going to get lower. So that was our drop. This was a new drop. We came up, which would have been this wick, and then we came back down and continued down. So just a little something I use to make sense of all this. But with these two current candles, we came down. This one created our support. And then this one, if it wasn't going to hold, it should have did what these two did and fell down through. So as long as this level does hold, I think that's going to be our support, just like over here, to take us up to the daily level. And then the last thing that I will do is I'll go to the 30-minute, and this is where I actually execute trades on candles, on 30-minute candle closes. So at first look, all of this right here, in my opinion, is just extremely ugly, and I don't really want to trade anything in this box. But if you look at it this way, it makes me a little more confident in what's happening. So like I said, my trend lines I like to use on the 30-minute. So that's going to be pink and thin. I'm going to take at the top of this wick and touch it to that wick as close as we can. And then we also kind of tap there. This one kind of did a little fake out. That didn't really, you could consider that a break, but it's not strong enough for what I like to see. So now, like when I started the video, I said I was going to kind of break down what I think is happening here. So we have a ton of consolidation right here. And normally when price is going to break a trend and change direction, you're going to see a lot of consolidation. We could actually even tighten it up to here and say that these are fake outs, which is what Rakeel does call them, I believe. But we can say that this is just consolidating. We did break over this trend, tried to come back down and couldn't, created support on top of it. So if we get above anywhere over here, which is our 4-hour level, if we get above there, we should, where's my marker? We should kind of retest, head back up, and then we'll start to see some upside on the monthly, is what I'm thinking should happen. But I mean, in terms of looking for clean traffic to take trades, because those are the smoothest and they do work the best from all the trades I've taken and I've seen people take. It's not really clean till you get above here. So what I've noticed happens, it actually happened right here. I'll show you. So that's how I do the top-down analysis. I think now that we're above here, unless we break back below here or below this level, kind of right here, I think we're going to start to head up. But like I was saying, this is really messy. And what I've noticed price likes to do is it clears a path for price to fall or go up smoother. So if we look, this was Asian session yesterday. This is all kind of just consolidating, in my opinion. I have a feeling most will agree. This candle broke out of there. So most people are going to think that that's the breakout. We're going to retest and then head up. But one thing to be careful of with Asian session, it always goes with momentum from New York and London in the morning. So if momentum is down, don't take a breakout, wait for a retest to form. Because if you look, trading in this box would have been really messy. But what this candle, what this candle did was it cleared a path. So when the candles come down, they can come down nicer. So just something I've noticed if you're going to trade the Asian session is be careful of those kind of candles. Plus, if you guys do follow Wicks Don't Lie, there's not much of a wick up top, and I know he doesn't like those candles. You could have had that be one of your confirmations to not enter just yet. But the other thing that would have kind of made more sense is this bullish candle right here is pretty significant. So if we look, our range is actually, you could say right about there. So you could put it here or say up here. So if you got above the body or above this wick, you'd have been good for buys up to this level right around here, because this is all just clean coming down. So when this did this, it didn't really break out of here because we have this right here. So once this candle flipped, if you do like to do that flipping strategy I posted recently, that would have worked perfectly. That would have been your flip candle. You have a clean candle clearing the path. And then once you get below here, you have clean traffic right here. But with momentum, this would have been enough to kind of hop in and take it down to here and then secure some profits, maybe let a runner go. I actually did take this trade. I entered in right after this guy broke here, and I got in right somewhere on this wick. And that was an experienced trade. Most people, you wouldn't take this trade because this candle was, I think it was like 40 pips. Yeah, it was about 40, 50 pip candle. So that's a crazy big stop loss. But just from trading experience over the past 14 months of trading Asian, when this candle breaks, it keeps going. Plus, I looked to the left and the traffic was clean until we got to, I think it was this wick right here. Because I took 35 pips, so I entered, and say right here, and I got out right about there at the 35. So that's kind of right where it started to turn around, and then same thing here, no wick. We came down, no wick, came down, nothing, came down. So just be aware of that in Asian session. But that is my outlook for GJ in starting on the 5th of January. So hopefully that helped some people with top-down analysis. And if you've never used the 30-minute trend line, it's actually really good. A lot of people in my group use it now too, and it just works. So I mean, if you had that marked, you would have seen that these are kind of tapping it and rejecting, going into a bullish structure on the 30-minute, and you would have known that that meant we were going to head down to here, and that these two levels wouldn't have been as relevant because this is going to be our current low. So we kind of made a little bit of a lower high, and we also kind of rejected perfectly right there. I'll put a line there just to show you. Kind of rejected the bottom of that perfectly with both of those candles. So there's two confluence that would have shown, well, three if you count momentum, that would have kind of gave you an idea of what those bearish candles were doing. So, but yeah, this consolidation and getting above this 30-minute trend line, I think, is going to be our signal, you could say, to start to head to the upside. Hopefully this helped. If you guys have any questions, post it in the comments or message me on Instagram. I will be happy to reply.